Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we bring about conversations of a consistent background of sociology, psychology, coaching, relationship, business, counsel, and all of that. And so we try to do that on a daily basis. Get over 575 audios available in a variety of topics. And so that is useful for most people. If you're looking to remap your brain, which is the remapping process, is what we're looking at today. I certainly help people to kind of remap their goals, remap their brains, how they work towards things are going for them in personal, professional, and spiritual aspects. Would love to be of service to you in 2021 and beyond for that service. If you're willing to engage in that process, please feel free to reach out. There's a couple ways to do that. You can do it through Twitter at PO Perception, or you can do it through this YouTube page. The About Me section has my website, and you can get in touch in that manner. What are some ways to remap your brain and things that matter? So the first is remap your consciousness. Be present moment minded on a consistent basis. Present moment mindedness is one of the most valuable things that you can ever tap into, because when you're present moment minded, you can adjust and adapt as quickly and seamlessly as possible. Adjustment and adaptation is a key to success, because there are many things that will get thrown at you that you don't expect, and your ability to navigate and move through them consistently is a key component to kind of going to the next level professionally, personally, emotionally, financially, whatever have you. Own yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses. This doesn't necessarily mean that you don't make changes, but if you truly don't want to change something about yourself, if you don't see the value, if you disagree with people's assessment of where your weaknesses are, if you just know you're too lazy to do it, if you know that you don't care that much, if you know that you really like certain strengths and they can cover those weaknesses, own that part of yourself. Know who you are well enough to know what you will and won't do to make positive change in your own life, and completely embrace that part of you. You can't change for everybody all of the time, and knowing where to put the desire for improvement is a valuable part of what's there. Now, the next thing is kill jealousy. Jealousy is a very archaic and often, not always, but often pointless emotion. The illusion of competition that propagates jealousy will cost you more than it's going to get you. So someone else wants to flirt with the person you're interested in. If they're really into you, they're not going to go that way. If they're not into you and your relationship isn't strong enough, you shouldn't want them anyway. So someone else is having more success than you. That means they're doing things you're not doing, which means rather than be jealous of them, learn from them, observe them, make the ideas or concepts they're using that are making them more successful in the moment your own, modify them, and move forward. Jealousy is an emotion which is very primal in nature and has its place of protection. The concept of mine, it goes back to Neanderthals, but it doesn't necessarily mean that at the end of the day it has real world practical value now. Next, promise yourself you won't take shortcuts unless taking a shortcut does not affect the productivity and the presentation of whatever you're trying to accomplish. Now, that doesn't mean you can't streamline processes into being able to take shortcuts when you know what you're doing. However, taking shortcuts just for the sake of taking them to save yourself time ultimately is not in your best interest. You might be able to save a few extra minutes or even a few extra hours in your week by taking shortcuts. But if you sacrifice prestige, value, or in some way sacrifice the progress that you really want to make, you're not really gaining anything, because you have to go back and reestablish proper habits sooner or later anyway. Use doubt to your advantage. And I know that sounds weird, but doubt and fear can be useful emotional tools, mental tools to move you forward. Using doubt to your advantage simply means admitting that you have it, but also realizing that you are the master of it. Take the energy of the doubt, realize and recognize that it may not be something you want to deal with now. It may not be healthy, it may not be smart, but you can, in fact, and often will, be able to find ways to use that doubt to fuel you and say, you know what, I'm not going to give in to this. I'm willing to fight it. Light that fight up, move into fight or flight, and push through it while you're on the emotional high. Many times, pushing through fear is one way that we can reestablish our own idea of our own value and our own ability to accomplish more than we think is possible, which is a useful relationship to have internally for a number of years and a number of reasons. So, the next thing in that situation is to look at um, the variance and variety. So, resilience, variance, and variety are very important concepts. You have to, in order to be able to remap your brain, see yourself as resilient, which is able to come back from hardship. Uh, Seek out variety in ways of thinking, ways of behaving, ways of doing, using the realities of these things to keep you moving. Find your motivation, which is the next point. Ultimately, what motivates you? Is it money? Is it the ability to spend time with more people? Is it making sure people are loved well? Is it fame? Is it fortune? Is it success? Is it getting into a magazine or being in a movie? What motivates you? And as your motivation changes, are you willing to admit to yourself that your motivation and thereby your drive is changing? If you think you're motivated by the same thing a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later that you were when you started a journey in life, you are sadly most often, not always, but most often mistaken. And you're wasting a whole bunch of time, energy, and effort around the idea that, change hasn't happened and you're good. Rather, it's better to look at how am I changing, how am I evolving, so you can use your own kind of unique way of looking at the world in a positive direction. The last thing is stay hungry for positive change. It's not stay hungry for the sake of change just because. It's the value of stay hungry for the benefit of positive change so that you begin to understand, you begin to know where your power is and is not, how you can grow and expand, and how you can kind of stay a trendsetter and a trailblazer and a leader as it relates to the goals that you have. Hopefully, all of this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.